is one of Clifton Hill's original scare maze attractions. And oddly enough, even though it's at the bottom of the hill-ish, I never really found it until I kind of really searched it out. So I'm just getting a little ways away because their speakers are kind of loud. So looking forward to it. It's really the last big scare maze that I have to do in Niagara Falls. This being Clifton Hill, there is a lot of noise in the background, and there's going to be a lot of noise in my head when I go through this thing. I don't really know too much about the haunted house other than that it is one of the classic Clifton Hill attractions here, and oddly enough, yes, as mentioned, I didn't really find out where it was until you kind of really, I don't know, Clifton Hill being what it is, you kind of have to look for things because they're kind of sandwiched in between each other. You'll see what I mean by looking at what I'm looking at right now. Anyway, I'm going to go and do this attraction, so looking forward to it. It's probably not going to be as intense as the other ones, as it doesn't have the reputation that the other ones that I've done now do, but I'm hoping I can film, so if I can, you're about to find out. If not, you're about to get my review of the haunted house. So we're inside, everybody has just actually welcomed me. All these people are actually crowding around here, fooling around with the attraction, but they're not going to come in. But we're about to go inside and given these gloves. So as opposed to Nightmare where you didn't get gloves, they provided gloves here, which is kind of cool. So we're about to go inside. This guy wants me to go in. So, I'm in a bit of a more colorful area here, as this is the adjacent attraction in the same building as the haunted house, which is the kids' fun zone, which is not very busy. So I'm taking advantage of that to give my review. What we're looking at here is a halfway between the House of Frankenstein and, say, the Dracula's Haunted Castle. So it's a walkthrough. There's no interaction with actors. So if you're worried about like anybody coming and grabbing you, you don't have to worry about that too much here. They do have a couple of interactive displays, which was kind of cool, but you're kind of just walking through a lot of dioramas and scenes that are triggered as you go through. Fortunately, we're allowed to shoot while we went through there, so as you can see, you can probably make out what I'm talking about. So yeah, how does this rate? How does this rate as far as the Niagara scare mazes? I would say it's definitely better than Dracula's Haunted Castle, which is really just sort of as I said in that review. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's an entryway haunted house. This one definitely is the next step. You're not doing House of Frankenstein next. You should do this one, and then maybe Nightmares, and then maybe House of Frankenstein. But I think people will probably have a different opinion as far as the interaction versus House of Frankenstein and Nightmares. I digress. So yeah, is haunted house worth it? We're talking $13.95 was what it cost to get in, which is the same amount as House of Frankenstein, which I do think is the best scare maze, technically here in Clifton Hill, and probably one of the best in the world. This definitely is not on that level or nearly as par. So I'd say $12.95 would have been a better price, which is what Dracula's Haunted Castle is charging. At least I believe so. It's probably changed, and I'll pop that up if that's changed. But yeah, would I say this is a absolute attraction if you're here in Niagara Falls? I'd say this is probably one of the ones I would give a miss, just because if you're limited on time and budget, there are definitely better ones to do. But if you're here to do them all, definitely give it a shot. Nothing really unique about it, unfortunately, but it being one of the more older attractions, it is exactly what I expected. So yeah, that is the haunted house. And I'm kind of bittersweet here because I've gone through all the haunted houses mainly in the Niagara region, or at least in the Clifton Hill attraction area. So that wraps those up. Definitely check out my other videos and reviews about those attractions as well. So that's wrapping it up here for the haunted house in Niagara Falls.